Jamar Hawkins with recruit757. We're here with the VUL head coach, Bobby Rome. He's here at recruit757 Unsigned Senior Showcase. Coach Rome, just take us back to when you got hired at VUL and just take us back through that process. How did that go?
Well, first I would say, man, it was definitely a blessing. Becoming a head coach is a calling. It's not something that you just fall into. It's something that's, it's put on your life, and I really feel like, coming to VUL, it was a school that was built out of strictly necessity, you know what I mean? And to this day, it's still being used as such, you know what I mean? Most of our student athletes are first-time college graduates, first-time college students, first-generation college students. So my goal is to make sure they're the first young men in their family to graduate from college.
Right.
Yeah.
So just take us back. What led up to you, not even with this position, but
right.
just take us back to kind of your past, because you've done a lot, since leaving, Granby and things of that nature.
Well, I would say since 2012, man, I applied for over 500 coaching jobs around America. A lot of people don't understand that's probably 780 college football programs in the country. I probably applied for maybe 500 of them. Didn't get a call back from any one of them. So I decided I had to revamp my plan, my strategy. Me working in recruiting and staff, and I realized that, going to a guy that's job, he's the head coach. That's one thing, like just for example, it's thousands of coaches that was in Charlotte this weekend for the coaching convention, you know what I mean? But they're not the ones that make the decisions. The athletic directors and the presidents of the universities are the ones that make the decisions. So I started going to them and starting getting my thoughts out there to them. I wanted to explain what I was going to do for my student athletes. You know what I mean? A lot of times when you're working for another head coach, you're working under his ideas, under his philosophies and stuff. And I wanted to bring in my philosophies from a former Division I athlete, former professional football player perspective. And I guess it aligned with many universities out there because I got many calls.
Right. So when you talk about your philosophy, and actually let's go back to your playing career, because we kind of skipped ahead of that.
Right.
Let's take us back to your playing career and some of the people you played on that learned under.
Right. Well, I played first of all, I played under Butch Davis. I played under John Button. That's two guys that competed in Super Bowls right there. Jim Foster, he competed in Super Bowl. And we're not even going to get into the position coaches. When you talk about Chuck Pagano, who was the head coach for the Indianapolis coach, our graduate assistant, James Betcher, he's now the defensive coordinator of the Arizona Cardinals. So, compare me to another coach who learned from the guy who's been coached by someone whose level went up as probably as high as Division II. I learned from Super Bowl caliber coaches. I've been in meetings with them. I sat down with them. It may not be the exact same what a lot of people would say, but I have not. I coached in all the Senior Bowls, and I'm telling you, I haven't had a problem. I haven't had a problem going against coaches that's been getting paid to do this for years. Haven't had a problem. I coached with Coach Mike Stock from the Green Bay Packers yesterday in the Tropic Bowl, and he said I did a damn good job. So at calling the plays. So like I said, I just don't see the difference. I don't see what people say that former football players can't coach college football or can't work in higher education. I don't see that connection.
Right. But obviously that came from you being around guys
right.
that were used to coaching on the higher level.
Right.
So what kind of philosophy? Let's go back to your philosophy. What is your plan for this
my philosophy, first and foremost, is developing young men. It's not all about winning football games. It's about developing young men, making sure young men are successful in life. A lot of times, when you're going to these different institutions and stuff, you know what I mean? Once you graduate, you're done. They really don't, no one really cares. But for me, I take pride in caring about my student athletes, what they're going to do after they graduate. I care so much. I got into staffing and recruiting. Right. You know what I mean? I was a branch manager of my own staffing firm. My wife is a branch manager of her own staffing firm. And we put people to work for a living. So I'll be damned if a college senior come to my room, come through my desk, and can't find a job. He's gonna be prepared when he graduates. We're gonna do resume prepping. We're gonna do interview prepping. We're gonna do internships. That's something that I wasn't probably offered as a student athlete in college, but I'm offering these to my student athletes because I know the struggle once they graduate.
A high school prospect that might see this interview, what are some of the things you look for in a recruit?
Well, first of all, I want somebody that wants to compete. And when I mean compete in the classroom, compete in life, and compete on the football field. Because nothing's going to be given to you anyway, so I'm not going to set you up for failure. I want you to come in and compete and want to win a job. I want guys that want to come to us, that want to play for us. You know what I mean? Those are the easiest guys to coach. You know what I mean? I'm not here to beg anybody to come be great. You know what I mean? We got a great coaching staff. We got guys that played in the NFL on our coaching staff, guys that played college football on our coaching staff.
Tell us a little bit more about
Kentuan Bomber, first rounder, former first rounder from 2008, 49ers. We got Tobin Matthews, who coached with me down in Chapel Hill, who also worked at NC State and Duke in compliance and recruiting. We also got Eric Highsmith from the Minnesota Vikings. Like I said, I don't want to name the rep. We got William Stone Robinson down in Fayetteville. So we're spread it out pretty much up and down the East Coast, as well as touching, and we got guys with similar backgrounds. You know what I mean? Guys from the same place, same neighborhoods, similar backgrounds that actually were successful on the field and off the field. They can grab these young men grab them and say, hey man, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? He's not looking at an older guy. He's looking at someone that's 31 years old, standing in their face telling you, not afraid to say, hey, that's not the way it's going to be done here. We're going to go to class, we're going to handle business, and you're going to graduate.
Right. What's the toughest thing about what you're doing right now?
I think the toughest thing about what I'm doing right now would have to be, you know, doing it in confidence. You know, being 31 years old, being one of the youngest head coaches, you know, in America, you know, right now, you know, a lot of people are looking, a lot of older guys, a lot of people, you know, they're probably been position coaches for 20, 30 years, probably feel like I didn't deserve to be in the position I'm at, but I'm here. You know what I mean? I'm here because I had a bigger vision, I had a bigger plan, and the system needed to be fixed.
What do you see? What do you see the program in a few years?
Well, I would say this. I see young men graduating. All right, I see a better overall view of VUL. I see people coming to us taking advantage of our resources, and that translates into winning. And I see us as a winning program. I see us recruiting better quality players, better students, and I see our school expanding.
Right. Is that something that was discussed, you know, when you first took the job? You know, what kind of outlook you had on the program?
Definitely. You know, winning was number 4. You know what I mean? And that's winning, like, you know, that comes once you get the foundation, the culture established. You know what I mean? The most important thing with me was the fact that the administration cared enough about that. They cared about these kids. You know what I mean? Right. They cared about these kids enough to say, you know what, I'm going to go get you. I'm going to get some tissue for your room, so you don't have to start stealing from the university. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like understanding that struggle, understanding that plight, like the fact they understand that plight,
right,
and willing to do something about it. Right. That right there makes me want to be a part of something like that.
Because I know that you're very much a commodity. You know, coming off the bowl season, you're coaching a few bowl all-star games.
Right.
So obviously, VUL had to have something that would be able to lock you in.
Yeah, I would say, man, just their commitment to the kids, man, their commitment to the student athlete, you know, their commitment to the overall student athletes. That right there, you know, that changed everything for me. You know what I mean? I didn't even want to hear what all these other universities had to say once I heard their mission. I heard how passionate they were about fixing the issues they had before, how passionate they were about getting the right person in there, and the fact that they believed in me. They believed in my vision. They believed in the coaches that I was going to bring in. They believed in me enough to put me on the president executive committee.
Nice.
So I meet with the president every week to go over university matters. You know what I mean? That's something that's, you know, that's growth. That's something I want to do eventually. I want to eventually probably run a university one day, you know. So I want to, you know, like I said, it's all about, you know, being able to help the next person. You know what I mean? Putting yourself in position to help the next person. You can't help somebody. You're not in position yourself to help the next person.
Bingo. Now you got your dad here. You're back home in front of some high school athletes. How does it feel to be back home, you know, as a college coach?
I would say it's a little different. It's a little different. You know, I'm not used to, you know, a lot of people, you know, I'm very low key when I come home and stuff like that. So I'm not used to being, you know, in the center of attention a lot. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? I'm ready for this. You know what I mean? I understand this is for a bigger picture. You know what I mean? I'm standing in front of this camera for a reason. You know, I'm standing in front of this camera only because it's not about me. It's about these young men and the young men I'm trying to help. You know what I mean? And like I said, if this message can get out and get out to all the young student athletes across America, man, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? I did this because I didn't want a boss. I didn't want to feel like I had to walk in this structured line. I wanted to make sure I could make my own decisions, be able to run my program the way I wanted, and be able to help young men on the longer way.
All right, this is Jamar Hawkins with Recruit757, and we're wrapping up with Bobby Rome.
Go VUL.